Good evening, everybody. We are going live now. And we have a change of players this week. Monarch Gray, who plays Monarch, has had to travel abroad for a couple of months. So on and off, we will be seeing POTUS in between the life and living with 3 kids, including 2 twin infants. How are the challenges going on your infants?
Did they pull out all of your hair?
Yeah. How's challenges going with the infants, Appa?
They're tentatively asleep. I may end up with a child in my arms being fed at some point.
Where are you going, the Bobbers?
This is when you go, here honey, hit this button here, you're gonna roll a 1d4.
Yeah, he may have them on his lap and be training them
make the kids roll for you.
Yeah, train them early how to play D&D.
Watch I let them do all my attack rolls and it's just auto crits all the time.
Yeah, they're more competent.
That's rude. That's so rude.
Sorry, I got something in my other eye too.
Oh, come on. We both know that his best rolls happen in WoW anyways. So many netty ones.
Well, no, otherwise my best rolls also happen on accident, like scaring the maid half to death.
Only when it's only important for, roleplay.
Right.
I'm here to help.
I'm a little saddened. I need to figure out something else, but yeah, my head gets squished.
Oh dear.
No!
So.
Aw.
You might have to fork out the $5 or whatever or I'll have to fork out the $5 and send you that head from Walmart.
Oh. So I'm doing a thing, and you guys will see probably next week or the week after, one of the two.
What?
I've got a ton of cardboard that I needed to do something with, so.
So, oddly
I may
enough,
also have a thing in a week or two.
hopefully I still exist in another week or two. Apparently my state is on fire. Everywhere.
The mudslides and wildfires.
I mean, it's a day that ends in Y in California, so.
Well,
That's actually my fault. Alistair Crowley stuff going on here.
Hey. Who told you to bring the dragon around?
Okay, so...
Appo, go home, you're drunk.
I am
From where I work, I can see a fire, the smoke from what is clearly a grass fire, almost every single day. I'm just, the airport's on fire again. Oh, I wonder what's burning out that way. It's every single day.
At least it's not a volcano like Hawaii.
Yeah, that's true. Not yet, anyway. I am going to get started with this. I haven't got the videos set up because we're on a different pattern than we usually are with 7 on here with me, and so I'm trying to get it set up, but it's a little bit off. Last week, Vlad got left behind for a bit, and he was doing some investigating and is just now joining the others at the Abbey. He comes riding up on his horse, hasn't gotten off his horse yet.
Speaking of which, did I find anything interesting with the tombstones? With either my Batman vision or my eye patch vision?
I gave you the listing before the game in Discord of what the tombstone said.
Okay. I was just asking if there was anything special. Okay, so Vlad comes riding up on his ethereal celestial horse. Clonk, 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 clonk. And sees all of this which is going on.
Yeah, pretty much you're right at the point. Yeah, you're pretty much right at the point where Duroc is now yelling at the Abbot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, ironically enough, I was going to try and interject and try to hopefully have a good bardic convincing on Dirok by telling him, don't kill him yet. He might be able to fix this. You should go get Vlad. And that was pretty much what I was about to do, and then you're just like, and I'm in. And I'm like, all right, well, that happened.
So Vlad rides up, sees this celestial person, sees just a beautiful woman. He doesn't recognize her as being similar to Irina yet. Sees Derek about to charge and sees his bird person.
Not about to charge. I grabbed my spear, pointed it at him, and I'm yelling at, what did you do to them?
Vlad looks around, sighs, breathes in deeply. What is that smell?
And hang on a bit before you get too far into this, because I have some things that still need to go on.
Sorry?
I know you're interested in getting into the action, boyo, but hold your horses. Nay.
Nay, I say.
As Vlad is riding in and trying to figure out exactly what's going on, he sees this. Remember that the abbot himself is an absolutely gorgeous person. He radiates light
Pure
and
beauty.
yes, pure beauty. He's just the most beautiful human being you've ever seen. He has like a light aura that extends out of his back that almost makes it look like he has wings. He just radiates holiness and all of these things, and this creature beside him is very attractive until you get very close to her and begin to notice that there's some deformities about her, which we'll go into more later. But as Vlad is looking through the gates and trying to figure out what all is going on, there is the sound of a wagon rattling up the road behind him. And he turns and looks and sees at first a wagon laden with a large keg of probably liquor. It's a typical liquor keg that's in the wagon. And then as they get closer, you realize that it's Epotus and Captain McHale. And I will let Epotus, I'll bring him up to the gate, and I will let him greet them and explain why he is there.
Vladislav, is that you?
Epotus? How did we just left you like 4 hours ago? How did you get here all? It is almost convenient to the plot that you are here.
I know. You would think that the world has some sort of like magical like space-time continuum adjustment to it.
As if there was some some great power overseeing us, trying to make things happen and move some sort of story along.
In truth, we had been heading on our way to Kresk. Kresk, is that how it's pronounced? Kursk.
Yes, Kresk.
We had been heading to Kresk with a shipment, and I chose to attend because I needed to get out of that city for a while.
Well, it seems you have arrived in the most chaotic period of our journey, he says, gesturing inside of the gate.
Well, Mikhail, would you mind keeping an eye on the shipment? We need to make sure that it gets down to the village appropriately. But I had heard about this monastery and wanted to investigate it myself. Seems great minds.
Indeed. Well, let us go in.
And Epotus hops
Vlad
off and walks.
offers a hand up to his celestial horse.
Sure.
Yeah, battle
hops on.
bros.
Epotus hops on.
And then
And the horse buckles. He goes, no,
Too much weight.
too much.
He's like a six with his armor. He's like an 800-pound crocodile.
So they then ride through the gate, and the whole what is that smell? Happens.
Smells like Fritos.
Like a bad.
And Mountain Dew.
Oh god.
There is,
Yeah,
correctly, there is
Human
just
misery.
there's just a general smell of miasma across the entire monastery area.
Alright.
So what you're telling me is it smells like Reddit.
Conventions.
With a little
Oh, I
hint
did-
of Twitter.
Nah, dude, I used Confunk for that one. Can't get worse than Confunk.
Oh, con funk. Okay.
Yep.
I thought you were talking about something much more specific, like a brand of fertilizer, dog cleaner, maybe. I don't know.
No, it's just that horrifying smell that you get when you're walking through the halls of a convention and some dude hasn't washed in like 6 days and happens to be there sweating up the joint.
Oh no, yeah, I work in a gas station. I get that almost every night. Anyway,
So, at this point, they hear Dirok yell. Then probably.
yeah, Vlad will probably ride to about right here, just in between everything. Look back and forth, and say, "Alright, does someone want to tell me what is going on? I was gone for literally 10 minutes."
So Alex is going to speak up and say, both to Vlad and Durok, hello! I guess Monarch has evaporated away. We came here and we...
Technically, Monarch is in the thing. I will.
He's just being
remove it.
quiet.
Yeah, he's just being quiet right now.
He's
He's being
being
quiet.
oddly quiet, as though he
He's-
almost weren't here.
Well, he's still stupefied by the whole thing.
Meeting a
We'll just-
god.
we'll go with the fact that he's still having a crisis of faith right now.
I like that. All right. So Alex speaks up. Hello, POTUS. I did not expect to see you here. And Vlad, I thought you were sending
Likewise.
moving on. Yes, we have met the Abbot here. I don't remember what the Abbot's name was. Good Abbot.
The Abbot.
Epotus hops off and says, "Hey, Abbot."
Yeah, pretty much.
Back in black.
You haven't ever specifically asked his name. His name is the Abbot, so far at least.
I've just been calling him the Abbot. Then I'll just get good Abbot. This is I don't remember. I'm
Oh,
trying to
what's
remember
his
what my
name?
story was. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. I'm trying to remember what my story was that I shared with him. I know me
Quick
and
notes.
Mark
Go to your quick
were.
notes.
I
This
never
is
felt
why
like
we
this kind
don't
of
lie,
story.
Alex.
Yeah, you basically it was a story between Monarch and you. Monarch was a doctor and you were his assistant.
Yes, but no, we worked in a different abbey and following the same religion, and I'm trying to think of who would outrank me specifically in an abbey, and I don't have any terms for what that would be.
You're pretty
You
much a
would be like
novice.
the
Everybody
priority,
yeah, you're pretty much a novice. Everybody outranks you.
The head friar, is that a thing?
I'm going
yes.
to just. I would like to just do a loud, obnoxious, disrupting whistle
Oh, I've got
just to
it.
get
I've got it.
everyone's
I've got
attention,
Okay.
and stand there going, "It's like, wait, hold on a second,
Prior.
before we start doing anything crazy. Hi,
Hello, Sylvia.
Durok.
Oh Christ.
He might be able to fix things. You
Oh,
can't
Thunder.
kill him yet.
Epotus actually
He turns these people into monsters
He
and
might
pays them like animals.
Epotus breaks off and actually makes his way over towards Durok and says, "Hello."
I'm pointing my
So-
spear at you now. I don't know what to make of this.
The
All right,
Abbot
so I can.
Okay.
The Abbot
Alex
holds
is actually
up
going to
his hand. In fact, he holds up both of his hands. He takes one off the shoulder of Vasilka, and he holds up both of his hands and he says, children, there is no
Elaborate for me, Durok.
need for such for such animosity. I'm willing to explain all to you. I'm even welcome to take you on a tour of the facilities so you can see what I am doing.
What is your specific issue, Dirok?
I'm pointing to all the half people, half birds that's surrounding us.
All of
Look,
this,
Apotus!
the people, the one
Oh,
tied
yeah, I'll
to
let
the
you explain.
post, the one you saw as you entered at the gatehouse, Apo, and the one that's standing behind the abbot are all deformed creatures with various, very strange adjustments to their appearance. The one behind the abbot, all of them are short, like 5.5 feet tall. The one behind the abbot has 2 heads, one of which is snoozing soundly. The one tied to the pole down here at the bottom has bat wings and all kinds of deformities. There's just, all of these short people have very strange appearances.
So yeah, I'm pointing to all the monstrosities around us, and I continue yelling because I'm very frustrated.
Does he work for Strahd, Dirok?
Um,
I don't think we asked that yet.
Everyone
So-
gather around.
But like, yeah, Derek's just going to continue. He made these monstrosities from people, and he chained them like animals. And I'm pointing to the house that's behind me. There is more inside this building right here.
Vlad is going to ask the abbot and everyone to get a little bit closer.
I'm gonna.
Again, the abbot,
Sylvia's like, nope.
So he's
again,
like, oh god.
Victor's not too sure about that.
again, the abbot
If it-
raises his hands and he says, "Young man, there is no reason for such animosity. Please, I will gladly explain all your questions and why these people appear as they do. It was for their benefit. I had to do it in order to help them, to cure them of what ailed them."
Looks like a great cure.
If you
Gerard,
had
easy.
known
We
them
might be
before,
alive.
if you had known them before, you would understand this was necessary.
Death is better than being misshapen.
Screw
No,
it. I'm just casting.
No.
I'm casting calm emotions.
You're casting what?
Calm
On who?
emotions.
He's tossing you some spell weed.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do I have to make a
Spell
save?
Xanax.
You have to make a DC 15
15 what?
charisma save.
You keep
charisma.
Charisma.
Okay.
It's in the text.
Okay. Save charisma. Damn. I kind of wanted to keep raging.
Be like, alright, I guess we'll see what he's got, bruh.
You become indifferent. In fact, everyone becomes indifferent.
Oh, is it? Within that
Actually,
20?
well,
Well,
does,
Technically, only Dirok becomes indifferent
the
because he's
humanoid
only-
within 20 that you choose.
Yeah, so Dirok becomes indifferent.
that is not good.
It only lasts a minute. All
We
right,
have a
let's-
minute. Vlad looks at the abbot and says, "All right, we have a minute to figure this out. I have a spell that will guarantee that everyone here is being truthful. Please come closer so that I can cast it."
The moment you cast it, Calm Emotions ends.
But of course, my
Ah,
son,
damn it! They're both concentration.
I would
I'm
be
going
happy to do
um,
so.
Vlad
So-
looks at Vlad looks at Dirok and says, "If I end this spell and guarantee that he is telling the truth, will you get angry again?"
If he speaks the truth,
Will you hold your blades?
Dirok
If I
will
can
hold.
guarantee-
Dirok will hold, but Dirok will not remain calm.
And Dirok,
I'm putting my spear back.
Dirok, if he works for Strahd, or if he's done anything untoward, and he tentatively puts his gauntleted claw on Dirok's shoulder and says, "Then we'll both burn this place to the ground."
And we will find that out now. And I cast Zone of Truth,
So I'm going to.
burning through all of my second level spell slots today.
Yeah, no, you're going about this probably wrong. I'm going to, while you're setting up Zone of Truth, I'm going to start trying to push Victor away from the group to put as much
Victor will
distance
cooperate.
between him and the Abbot as possible, and then send a message to Ippotis going, "Hi, so the animal creatures, the really stinky building, why does that girl? She mentions that he introduced the girl beside him
No.
as, yeah, because
Go
no,
ahead, sorry.
he
Go
did when he came out. He introduced her as someone who was
Okay.
going to be marrying Strahd, and then that's the, yeah. So she's sending that. Sorry.
In the courtyard, or did he say it only to Alexander and Monarch?
I believe
He
one
He
of
said
them.
it specifically to Alexander and Monarch.
No, I thought you guys
I
had
mentioned
mentioned.
nothing because I was
Some-
going to try and have some sort of subterfuge.
No, because someone actually mentioned that the girl was being married. Because I remember coming out and going, "Oh, marriage wedding planner, hi!"
I believe.
Yeah, that was you.
It's quite possible that he said it again when he came out. So we will assume
Yeah.
that he did because he's quite.
Yeah, I wouldn't
He's
have
quite straightforward about
Sorry.
that.
Okay, so
Yeah,
so she transfers that information to
information to
Ippotis.
Ippotis. Yeah,
Now, Vlad is the
and
one
of
without
course
the
you can reply. You can reply to that message. La 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 la.
She just hears she just sees Ippotis look at Dirog and then to the Abbot, and she just hears, "Thank you."
What can I say except you're welcome?
Now I need to check on children. I'll be right back.
Okay, so Calm Emotions is a concentration. Zone of Truth is not. Both spells are currently active. Before I cast Zone of Truth, I'm going to look around at everyone and say, you will have the possibility of resisting the spell. I will know if you do. I would ask that you choose to fail so that we all know that we are all being honest with each other.
Abbott
Alex has been
immediately
through this before.
again stretches his arms out and he says, "My son, you have my complete cooperation. I have nothing to hide."
And I cast Zone of Truth.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I'm outside the radius with Victor, like distance for holy magic.
I choose to fail.
What?
Just to fail in Zone of Truth.
I guess Derek would be moving up if Victor is moving back, and Derek will choose to fail. Still calm. Unusually calm. Derek has never been this calm before.
Xanax
It should be unsettling to you.
Yo, this is great.
Valium
man.
calm.
That's
No,
pretty
this
much
should
it.
be very unsettling.
This is
Suppose,
Valium.
what does it mean?
So, Zone of Truth, you are aware that the spell prevents you from telling deliberate lies. You can say sentences that are misleading, as long as they're not actively lies.
And everyone on our side has a plus 3 bonus.
Also, I wasn't within 10 feet of you, I don't think.
Oh.
Oh no, yeah, I was.
Alex isn't gonna lie here. He's not gonna have.
I'm
any
not.
question.
I'm not being. I am not.
Damn!
staying in the
I can
circle.
lie.
God damn.
I'm totally not going to kill everyone here.
Vlad looks over at Ippotis and then shakes his head and just whatever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep myself out of the circle. Granted, I probably could pass it, but I'm like, nope. I'm gonna play safety and I'm gonna guard Victor and I'm gonna keep away from the holy magic.
And
Tiny,
Vlad
tiny
is
bark
aware.
around shield.
Vlad is aware that the abbot put up no resistance, did not attempt to block the spell in any way, shape, or form.
Vlad turns to Dirok and says, "The abbot has chosen to fail chosen to allow the spell to take hold. Everyone that is affected by the spell cannot tell lies. Now then, what, Abbot? What is the story behind these creatures?
Many generations ago, their forebears. It was, I would say, time slips away from me. It must have been close to 150 years ago. Their forebears, a number of the family of the these Bellevue descendants, they became quite insane. Whether it was the circumstances of the realm or whether it was a natural calamity, I'm not certain, but they became quite insane, dangerous to the community, and they ran about harming others. They were incarcerated here, and they were entirely without ability to be saved. We worked tirelessly for a long period of time, attempting to regain their sanity, but it was hopeless. Finally, we realized one of the monks realized that there was a possibility of using magic through a wish ability to manage to alter them so that they could again reclaim some portion of the sanity that they had before. Unfortunately, the wish had undesired side effects, as you see, and he waves his hands towards the people around. It left them with odd deformities of animal things. Part of it was that they themselves wished to have certain abilities. That was part of their insanity. They wished to have the eyesight of a lynx, or the ability to fly, or the ability to run as fast as a horse. And because of these wishes that the original Bellevues had, it affected the initial wish that was placed. They therefore became these deformed creatures, but at least they are able to function with a degree of sanity, even if you might not consider them sane by your standards.
You speak of the swish spell.
Yes, my son, it is a powerful spell in which
A very powerful spell.
you must pray to your deity and beg them for a grant of certain things. And we prayed very hard to the Morning Lord at that time. We prayed intently. All of the brothers and sisters prayed, in hoping to heal them. And in a manner of speaking, I guess we did, but the wish did not leave them in an exactly human form. It left them with this taint of their alternate wishes in it.
I see.
I
Vlad turns to Durok. I'll go ahead.
have a question. Why did you let? Were they allowed to make the wishes themselves?
Original people did, and as the taint has passed down, there have been deformities from the interbreeding. They are horribly interbred, and in addition, there appears to be like a taint of the original wish that is causing much of this, and individuals might have wishes of their own that weave into this odd result that unfortunately we created, but at least we cured them of that horrible, damaging, they were psychopaths at killing people. The utter madness.
I'm sorry to inflect this, but this is not the word that Alex would use. I'm sorry to accuse you of this, but why would anyone ever let crazy people pick their own wish?
I did not intend to do that. It was our wish to make them sane. We were the ones who were praying and wishing that they be granted sanity, but
And
something...
the gods gave them their own wishes as well. That sounds like the gods. I understand now.
Yes, in some way, something intermingled and their own wishes became part of it.
Durok has
Does-
questions.
Does the Morning Lord have trickery among his domains?
do not believe so. It is not common, but I'm not.
Why would he play such games with a witch?
It is entirely possible that in this realm, the gods are not the only powers, or at least the ones that we know of.
No, the counts may have had some influence, though I know not enough to have any certain viewpoint on that.
It turns towards Apotus and smiles beatifically. My son, you understand this realm, the darkness and the evil that pervades it. It's what I am striving to try and heal. I have the greatest hope that I can calm the evil in the Count's heart and might finally be able to turn him back to the human that he once was so many centuries ago.
And how recently have you been in contact with him?
I'm supposed to be in contact with him within a few days regarding Vasilka. I occasionally speak with him because I have offered to create a bride for him that will soothe his heart, and he is willing to consider my proposition.
He agreed to this?
It seems so. I have great hope that this beautiful woman here beside us will soothe the animal that rages in his heart.
Epotus walks over to Basilka, was that her name?
Durok has questions.
He walks over and just starts like inspecting her, and while he does this, we're going to divine sense. Do I pick up any celestials, fiends, or undead within
Boy,
60 feet
do
of me that
you.
are not in total cover?
You pick up that the Abbot is very clearly a celestial of some sort. There is no doubt he radiates it. He has a great deal of power. The woman in front of you is clearly an undead, although a remarkably well done undead. She's not like falling apart. She is definitely a construct and an undead, and you can even visually see seams where her face has been stitched on. It's kind of hidden under her long auburn hair, but you can see the seams.
Would Epotus have any understanding of like what a flesh golem is?
I don't know your background, but I wouldn't think it unreasonable with all the wars and things you saw. If you had any kind of fight in your background having to do with necromancy, it wouldn't have been unreasonable.
You might have like heard of it, but this might be like the first one he's actually like seen in person.
Enough that he probably would have a pretty good guess of what she is. Vlad, are you still on horseback?
Yes, I am.
He's like, I'm the boss here. Is there anything else, or is it just those two?
I'm have to go AFK for a little bit.
How far is the radius again?
It's 60 feet, and
Within...
they have, in order to hide from it, they have to be behind total cover.
There's nothing else that you sense within that range.
So, like, the mutated people aren't radiating any strange auras.
Radiate a positively human aura, but they're very unwashed and smelly and very odd. But other than that, they don't.
They radiate a lot of things.
And this is a abbey devoted to Lathander. Is that what I understood?
What it's supposed to be, yes. Himself wears Lathander's symbol on a chain around his neck. It is clearly the rising morning lord symbol. However, Alexander and Monarch, when they were inside, saw a full sun disk inside the church.
My man.
Durok has questions.
Yes, my son, ask
It
them.
may be good that you get a chance to ask them.
You said we were helping them. Who else was helping you?
The monks, the sisters, the ones who worked here.
Where are they now?
They died a couple of centuries ago.
Then I'm pointing again to all the half people and back to the house behind me. Why do you keep them chained and caged?
I do not, my son. You have not gone in to see. They choose to remain inside because part of what remains of their inability to cope, they are afraid to journey out into the greater world, partly for fear, as Cloven here will explain to you. When he has gone down to the village, the children threw rocks at him and drove him out of the village. So most of the people choose to remain here for their own
I
protection.
can understand that.
Do they still have their faculties otherwise?
To
Yes.
a large degree, some more than others. Cloven here and my guards at the gate are quite in control of themselves, but others like Marzina there, who is chained to the post for fear that she will fly away and do something to harm herself, some of them are closer to insane, and he kind of looks over and edges over and looks down into the well. And I dare say the fellow who lives down there is entirely not of his faculties.
The fellow down where?
The well, my son.
Oh, we didn't even see someone that was down there.
None of us looked down the well.
Is it wise to keep a madman in your water supply?
I have a great many sources of water. The well is mostly for the creatures to use so that they have water to drink, but for the parishioners who come up and for the rest of us, we tend to use other supplies from the streams here. And of course, the wonderful wines from the Wizard of Wines.
I point back to Marzina behind us and tell him, she has been begging me to free her. I still hear her begging me to free her now. Why is she chained?
Like the one in the well, she is one who is closer to insanity than some of the others. There are a number of them, quite a number, who live in the hospital, and he points over to the other building. Some are more sane and some are less sane. We try continuously to help them, but some of them, like Marzina and her brother, are quite beyond help.
And so you keep them caged up like animals rather than trying to help them.
Son, you did not hear me. Their doors are not locked. They can come out at any time.
Her leg is chained to a pole. She is not free to go.
The very few that is insane enough that I feel I must restrain her. If you release her, she is more likely to attack us than to thank you, and she certainly would be a danger to the village below.
Then let's test that theory. I'm going to grab my axe and start walking towards Marzina. Is it a rope or is it a chain? Oh.
Keep in mind that calm emotions is still up.
Oh yeah, I'm not angry. I know I'm not mind controlled. I'm testing his theory that, Marzina is going to attack me after I've been telling her or talking with her.
Don't break the chain, Direct. Just go to her. See what happens.
Would my speak with animals still be up? Because that's a 10-minute thing.
It would be ending about now. I would say that you're probably reaching the end. I'll give you one conversation with her.
Then I'll quickly ask her, if I were to free you right now, will you harm me and my friends, or will you just go on your own?
I'll fly away! Let me loose! I want to fly!
I want to go before they all get me. The people in the village, they want to kill me. You know that. Everybody wants to kill me. They're all murderers.
I raise my axe and I tell her, you fly away from the village. You fly to the woods. You will be safe there. And I'm going to swing my axe down. I'm assuming I'm going to have to make some kind of roll.
Yep, give me an attack roll. I'll give the chain a DC 11 on its armor class.
I just want to make sure I get the right one. I have, okay, make sure great axe without raging. Ooh.
A dent in your axe.
So, Alex is going to speak up. Dirok, freeing her is not a good idea. I understand why you think it is, but I'm fairly certain that we don't have the whole story, and crazy people are known to, very much believe one thing and then a moment later believe something completely different.
You can hear
the story with crazy.
We can hear all the crazy people in the hospital and marina crying behind you there. Doing sound effects for her. Thank her very much.
Yes,
She's perfect.
Okay, so I gotta share this quick story because it's perfectly unsetting. Today she discovered, or I think yesterday, she discovered that she can shriek and that she can hit high-pitched shrieks, and she's just been doing it whenever she feels like it, just for fun. So just out of the blue, it'll be like this ear-piercing screech.
He
So-
puts his hand on the palm of his sword.
Yep, I'm raising my axe and I'm going to swing at the chain again. I'm determined to free her.
Dirok, perhaps insulting our host is not the greatest of ideas.
He says that she will attack. I am testing his theory.
Lifts his
And
hands and he
I
says,
swing.
"My son,
What will
before
you do if she
before
does attack you?
my son, before we you do that, she might not attack us here in the courtyard, but she has in the past gone and attacked people in the village. I beg you, speak with her all you wish, but please do not release her on the village."
If she attacks the village, I will put her down myself. If she flees... I'm assuming the north is away from the village, right? Going by the map.
Are you willing to...
The village is in like a U around the hill. It kind of half encircles the entire monastery. So pretty much she'd have to fly to the northeast to get away from the village.
Do you have so little care about life?
Everything deserves the right to live and the right to fight to live.
And what if she picks up several children on her way out?
Then she loses her right to live.
And you're going to know that she picked up several children, know exactly which direction she went, and are going to go by herself into the woods to find her and hunt her down because you chose to make a single impulsive mistake.
Dirok, think about it.
Dirok is
Think about it,
a
my son.
tracker.
Think about it, my son. You cannot fly. She can fly.
You can fly.
She
You
can
can do
fly
nothing to
away
her, Dirok.
from you. And she has harmed children before. I have a fear that it may even be part of what has happened to the Burgermeister's children. She got loose some time back.
This land has enough evil as it is.
I turned back to her. Did you take the Burgomeister's children?
I only kill people that want to kill me. But everybody wants to kill me. Do you want to kill me? They want to kill me. You know they do.
I stepped back.
Thank you.
And with that, you are now her cackles only sound like screeches of a bird.
I do not trust her enough to know that she will not harm any others. She has admitted that she did kill others.
Thank you, my son.
Yes.
You frightened me there for a moment. I feared that I would have more injuries on my hands.
Just know that you are still no better in my eyes.
I understand
Speaking in
your
zone of
doubt,
truth.
my son. I understand your doubt, but the more you know, the more you will see I have struggled for a great many years trying to negate the horrible evils of this land and the things that it has done to its people. Just look at these people, and the madness they originally had could very likely, as this dragon person here has said, could very likely have come from the source that I am trying to quell.
I do have a question for you, Abbot. You had mentioned that this woman here. I'm sorry. What was your name, Miss?
She just turns and smiles at you with a kind of non-smile smile, like she's been taught to smile at anybody who talks to her, and says nothing.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Smiles.
Alex
Who-
laughs.
And it's still a better conversation than having one with Derek.
It's a ball of story than Twilight.
Who created you?
Kind of
What are your
turns.
mother and father's name?
She kind of turns her head, still with that Stepford wives smile on her face, and just smiles at the abbot with big, empty eyes.
I kind of
Alex
like this one.
Alex
And
speaks up to the
Epotus.
abbot.
Epotus looks at the abbot, then lets Alex speak.
Sir Abbot, you spoke earlier about a problem with the dress, that we could not have her wed if not for the dress, or we would have her wed if not for the fact that we are lacking a dress of proper sorts. Has the lord of this land commented on anything of that nature? Would not he have the power and influence to be able to provide a dress for his lovely to-be wife? Have you
That
spoken with him about it?
I have not specifically spoken with him, but he did make it a certain condition of considering her for his wedlock that she be properly attired as a lady. I wanted to present her to him in the wedding dress. I have heard it said that some of the noble women of the valley might possibly have some dresses that would be suitable for such things, and I had planned to go and visit them and see if possibly they would loan her one of their wedding dresses or a dress suitable for such things.
Where
We're
did
still
she
in-
come from?
We're still under the zone of truth. I have a question. If Lord Stroud, Alex says, still intentionally mispronouncing it, were to renge on
Thanks,
this
guys.
deal,
Renege.
is that really the pronunciation? Because I
Yes.
definitely heard it pronounced the other way.
No,
It's
it's renege.
That's so racist sounding. Oh my god!
Who is Renee?
Just, I get the etymology of it, but, or I have a hint at it, but
Renege.
renege. Yeah,
Oh, renege.
renege. Like from niggardly. Moving on.
No, like neg,
Not
like
at all.
egg, like an egg.
No,
Renege.
like there is a. Moving on. I'm not gonna get into it.
Linguistics.
There's a term to be cheap, or moving on. Anyway, if the Lord Stroud would go back on this deal, after you offered him, glancing over the perfect bride, would you be willing to act against him? I feel, in our experience, that he doesn't want peace in this land. So
You are wrong, my son. I feel like we have just not touched the chord that will reawaken his humanity. And if only I can create exactly what he needs, then I feel that he will finally be at rest.
So you plan to present the ruler of this realm, who up until this point I have no reason to believe that he has any lacking for intellect, with this thing.
Yes.
Where did she come from?
From parts of bodies, people who had already been deceased.
And where did you learn this ability, Abbot of Lathander?
Over the course of centuries, as we investigated bodies of people who had died in the morgue, I naturally learned anatomy and things, and I have the natural ability to resurrect people, or even to apply it to a construct such as her. But if I make her enough to his specifications, I am quite sure that he will calm.
So your full intention is to use this for the benefit of Strahd.
Of the realm, sir. If I can calm Strahd's emotions, think what this realm could become.
And how, and I'm still not tracking how a mute girl with one expression made of multiple lesser creatures will somehow attract his attention.
I believe
There is not a dress in the world that will cover that up.
The abbot holds up his hand.
He looks.
The abbot holds up his hand to Vlad in order to answer Apotus. The
I
abbot
believe one
says.
understands.
The abbot says no. He holds up his hand to Vlad, saying, "One moment, my son. I admit she is still raw. I understand this, my good sir. I am attempting to teach her. She is only starting, she is like an infant. She is only just beginning to understand words. I'm hoping to teach her gentility, to teach her manners, to teach her the grace of a fine noblewoman. He wanted a woman that had her appearance and described what he felt would be the perfect bride. I'm going to teach her to dance. I'm going to teach her how to wear the finest clothing and to become a true gentlewoman that will make his heart soar when he has. There has been experience in the past of him having claimed brides from among the various town folk, and I am hoping I can end that by
You will
doing
present
this.
to him an empty puppet.
No, I
Lord
believe
Phineas.
the abbot is saying that she is currently a blank slate upon which he will inflict certain lessons.
Yes,
My
however,
son.
she still
Who is a-
lacks a soul. I do not believe you understand the nature of our dear Lord Fangface.
No, I do have a question, kind.
Whose appearance?
Let me speak.
Never! Dirac and Epotus are taking over the conversation.
Strahd
cut,
does
bad cut.
not want any random woman off of this street. Over the course of our short adventure here in Barovia, we have learned that he wants one woman in particular.
Do you
He is
have
not
to tell
after-
everyone we meet that?
He is not after an empty puppet. He is after a certain soul
I'm
that he.
so going to just facepalm hearing this, because I'm pretty sure being outside the zone of truth, I can still hear all this.
Oh yeah, you can still hear this.
You could just see Sylvia in the background standing near Victor going, holy fucking shit, I can't believe he just said that. Pardon my
Why-
language, but that's
why
exactly
do
what
you-
she'd be saying.
I'm not telling him that we know this person.
But why
I'm
do you
just
need to
telling
bring
him
up that
that
there
this
is
won't
somebody?
work.
Wow.
Dude, it's
But-
abundantly obvious that if you
Maybe
literally
he just has a type.
I can't lie. I'm in a zone of truth, and I chose to fail to save.
That is true.
You could be misleading about it, though. A little bit
I'm
harder. but-
misleading
He is
him.
he
to
is
know.
technically misleading by not.
I'm doing what I can. All right.
So
These are all thought flies flying around in the area while this conversation is happening.
Epotus looks at the gentleman with the baby twin growing out of his neck and gives him a gesture that indicates step back.
So you want Cloven to step back?
Yes. Would you mind stepping back? I want to test something out. Let's see. Have you made any progress with anything that you've taught her?
Taught her to curtsy.
Derek did have a question too.
Ask your
Whose
question.
appearance?
I never got to finish what I was saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
that too.
That's how I roll.
Alright. Mike first, or Vlad first.
With what I was saying, this vessel is an empty vessel without the soul. If you think this will appease him, then all of those centuries you have been alive have taught you nothing.
Son, you're the one who does not understand. He has taken soulless brides before. This will not be the first. He seeks an appearance. He does not seek the soul.
Curious.
Say,
Does this court?
Let me,
Sorry,
hold
does
on.
this person look like? Sorry.
GM.
OOC, I will say that you are both right from your points of view. He is not lying to you. And you are not wrong, but neither is he. So you don't need to press that fact any further.
No,
Does
yeah,
she-
Vlad looks like he wants to say more, but he's just like,
Does she look like Irina at all?
Very
Yeah.
much.
Solve it.
She is
Solve it.
clearly
Which is why Derek.
not Irina. You know that she is not Irina, but the way the hairstyle is done, the color of the hair, the color of her skin, her height, her bone structure, everything is very, very reminiscent of Irina.
Which is why Derek is trying to ask his question. Whose appearance? You said that you were trying to copy her appearance.
The one
Who?
described to me by the Count himself.
And who did he describe?
Individually, I don't know, but he was quite specific in how he wanted a bride to look.
How long ago? I would assume that calm thing is probably done by now, so I would probably be starting to get a little more visibly angry, although I am keeping my word and keeping my weapons sheathed.
How long ago what, my son?
How long ago did he ask you for this?
Did not ask, I offered it, and then he described what would make him happy in a bride.
And how long ago was this then?
Sometime over a year ago. A while to get her just right and to get her to the state where you see her.
This is a lot of work for a year, I have to assume.
Epotus is gripping the sword very tightly.
Oh yeah, I've moved back up as well, away from.
Okay, not yet. one
I'm
one
2 out of
more.
3.
I've. Oh,
Got an 8, 5, and a 19. If I get one more below 10, he's going for it.
It's like a death saving throw. Vlad looks at Apotus and says, this is the same as what has happened. This is similar to one of the deals we've made before. If this truly, and he turns back to the Abbot, says, if you truly believe this will satisfy the Count for at least a short time, I'm willing to allow this to happen.
Puts his hand to his chest in a gesture of thank you. Oh, bless you, my son. You understand what I'm trying to do.
Unless, of course, this does what always happens when he takes a soulless bride and entertains him for a little while, and then everything stays exactly the same.
Oh, it will undoubtedly stay exactly the same. However, all we
So-
need is a little while.
Question: Is
Damn,
Zone of
better than
is Zone of
worse.
Truth still up?
It
But
lasts for
she
10
is-
minutes.
But she is nowhere near by the. I could have him cleansed by the time she's ready.
All right. I'm going to yell from outside the bubble. Hey guys, I got a question.
Yes.
Can I ask it? So, Abbott, question: Where did you find this lovely girl?
She
What
was made up of different dead body parts.
What cities did she start from?
Most of them are
She's from all over.
She's she
Parts
is
unknown.
Huh?
Let our GM speak, please.
Sorry.
That's pretty good.
I don't even hear what was said.
Sorry.
Dirt.
mostly from the dead of Kresk, I'm afraid. At least put a good use to their former relatives.
Do the people in the village know about this?
Not wish to disturb them.
Where are you
Felt that
from?
he blinks at you. He says, "From? Why,
Where are you from?
I suppose the upper levels, sir."
Which one?
It was a long time ago now. It was one of the holiest.
I'm sure it was.
Keep in mind, he can't say anything that he believes to be a lie.
Okay, so I'm no OC, so I've basically negated out that he may have taken that one chick from Barovia City. Or
Yeah.
Barovia Village. Yeah, that's what I was at. That's where I was going with that one.
Well, when she... Wait, yeah, I know.
He said
Yeah.
mostly from Kresk, so
Yeah.
Um... So anyway, it's I was about to ask something else, and then I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, we are seeking, besides this, and he says, gesturing to the doll, we are seeking artifacts. Do you know where the asylum used to be?
gestures towards the hospital building. There, it's where the Belvins, by and large, are housed. I mean,
House of the Stinky People.
We are seeking. It was a. Oh, Sealy, it was a book that was in the. A book of no.
you're seeking the holy symbol of Ravenkind at a place where madness
is.
dwelt.
Yeah. Oh no.
We are seeking a certain, and he then looks at the sun symbol hanging around the Celestial's chest. A holy symbol.
Very well.
We are actively opposing the counts, and to
Oh,
do
boy.
this, we are trying to gather items that we believe may help us. One of these is a certain holy symbol that we were led to believe resides in the asylum, which is now the hospital.
I assure you, my son, I cannot release this symbol of lavender, but you are welcome to search the premises for anything that you think might reside here.
The symbol of the thunder, no. And he holds up his own symbol. I have one already. This, I believe it was called Symbol of Ravenkind.
Kind of gives you a shocked look. What an odd name. Well, you are welcome to find it if it is here.
You do not know anything about this symbol?
Not myself, no, my son.
Keeping in mind that he cannot lie?
Mind he cannot lie.
Alright.
I mean, it probably makes sense. He's of Lathander. He probably doesn't care about stuff outside of Lathander.
Mhm.
I'm just curious about what was the shocked expression for, by the way?
Ravens, what an odd thing. There are, there's quite a raven war here in Barovia.
Between
Dirok is interested.
Really? Do explain further, please.
There is one flock who flies at the side of our dear Count, and there is another flock that opposes him.
One that flies at the side of the Martikovs.
Looks at you strangely. The Martikovs? I know the name well. Why do you say they fly at their side?
They possibly fly against. We need to find out who flies as a side.
When
Is it
we were
possibly the Vistani?
About that, I cannot tell you, but there is a Vistani woman who is temporarily in residence in the upper floors of the hospital. I allowed her to use the old barracks.
Very well. We will go investigate this hospital, see if we can find this symbol, and possibly speak to the Vistani woman, with your leave, of course.
Of course, as I said, I will even give you a tour if you wish, but you are welcome to explore anywhere, and my church is open to you. Feel free to explore anywhere you wish. Incidentally, the individuals who are housed in these small housing sheds here and emotions around the yard, they are some of the ones that we've had to keep restrained. Be very cautious if you open their doors. They could attack. However, the ones in the larger building have been deemed more safe for visitors to speak with. There are quite a number of them in there, however.
We will take that tour, please. Thank you.
You wish him to lead you on the tour, or to go on your own?
I
so
do.
You're free to. Okay, so everybody, how do you want to think about it?
I vote yay.
I have a question. So a tour of the hospital. We're trying to find the
Tour of
holy symbol, right?
Really.
A tour of everything. Well, because if we were going to go to the hospital, I was actually going to see about if we could get Otis and Zen. I can't remember the girl's name, but the
Otto
two,
and Siegfried.
or Otto.
Otto and Siegfried.
To see if they could probably help us with the hospital to try to keep their I guess brethren calm.
The abbot motions to Cloven, who is behind him, and says, Cloven knows them well. He is the one who delivers their meals to them several times a day. Since they know him, he would be able to assist you with introductions or whatever you wish. And give me a perception or insight roll. Anyone who
Everyone or
wishes
just
to.
Dirok?
Anyone who wishes to.
Sure. Perception or insight?
Yes, you glance at Cloven Bellevue.
Damn, look
the
at all
exact
them
same.
19s. You use goodness
I am
gracious.
here tonight.
Yes.
Everybody is
roll-
great.
The 9 of natural 20s.
Everyone's eyes turn and you look at Cloven, and Cloven is staring at the abbot's back with a frown. The one head that is awake is frowning like he's not really thrilled about having to go in again into the hospital, but it's more like a child's pout sort of frown. But he doesn't say anything. He just stands there and has this pout frown on his face. not real thrilled about being designated as tour director to the hospital.
So he's not happy about going into the stink pit. I understand that, especially with 2 sets of noses. With 2 noses? 2 sets of nostrils, that's what I meant.
Yeah, he's
In any
technically
case.
got 2 noses.
If
Sleep at the moment.
May I also ask about these straw soldiers?
Oh, that is.
No, you may not.
Look around you, my son. We have very little defense save our prayers, and I worry that people, even villagers who sometimes don't understand what's going on here, might come in and raise the place, destroy all that I'm trying to do, and so I've put up an attempt at illusion in hopes that maybe it might keep them away.
What if these afflicted individuals, these alternative humans, were what if they had been? What if they were given proper training and carried proper symbols?
He kind of rubs
You
his
really
chin for a moment and he says, if there was sufficient manpower to do that, it is possible that perhaps, well, somewhere around 50% of them might be trainable to some kind of service. The person they were serving could endure their oddities, of course. As I said, we have had trouble with them being ridiculed and bullied before.
He looks at Vlad. Okay, so not me.
Yeah, not you.
Sorry, what? I was talking to people on my end.
It was like, oh, they could. Epotus was like, oh, well, what if they were like trained and had proper symbols that people wouldn't attack them? And the Abbot was like, well, what if so long as they're not like bullied into it or whatever, about half of them could probably do it. And Epotus was like, okay, so not me.
Yes. I believe you are already busy with Valaki, aren't you?
I am, but honestly, the last few days, Mikhail and his lieutenants have been mainly handling things, and I've been able to prepare for this trip.
We have Carrie in attendance.
What?
Show us Carrie, yeah.
How small?
Well, hello there.
He basically says, yes, they have been, I have managed in what time I have to train them to simple tasks and to care for themselves to a certain degree, although not perfectly. And I imagine that if an individual took enough time with them, that they could certainly be trained in manual labor or to simple jobs.
Try starting with music or cleaning. Simple menial tasks. Get them used to work.
Yes, well, Cloven here is the only one who is quite talented in music, as you heard, or as these gentlemen here heard when they were inside.
And he's genuinely incredible. Sylvia, you need to speak with him and see if you can pick up some tips, because dear God.
Now,
that
Alex,
brings up
you're being
another
rude.
point.
No,
Wait.
I'm not a fan of music, but I could sit there and listen to that man all day. He is incredible.
Who is he telling to go learn stuff from somebody?
You to learn something from Cloven.
Oh, you're
just as
so
a kind-
you're so cute. You think I'm a musician bard? No, honey.
I assume at some point in time. I don't know. I assumed all bards were trained in music.
Oh, she's a stand-up.
classist.
She's a stand-up comedian.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm making some assumptions here that she tells
No,
tales and she
I don't-
works the PR campaign for all intents and purposes, but I assumed at some point she had created some music and we had ran across that. I don't know, felt like it fit the character.
No,
Guess
that
I made
was
an assumption.
Darrock, and I'm pulling out my drum.
Are you serious? I don't remember.
Oh, dear.
It's more of a skull. The job is to scold you.
Isaac.
That brings up another question. Are all of the people here Bellevues? You said it was only the Bellevues that were
Excuse me.
afflicted.
Except for guests, my son, yes.
Well, the Bellevue family has gotten large.
Oh, quite large. I'm afraid they do breed like rats.
Well,
Perhaps it would be wise to prevent such things.
Then I'm quite sure someone would find me in error of the ways for having performed more surgery upon them. I try to leave them to their lifestyle.
I don't believe he was talking about castration.
Oh.
What?
It sounded
never
to
mind.
me that he was.
Oh, he absolutely was. I just thought differently.
That
In
is
any case.
generally the method of. Yeah, that is generally the preferred method, Vlad.
In any case, let us go take this tour and see if we can't find this holy symbol.
Any POTUS trudges along, but I only have the one hand.
And Cloven Bellevue moves down with his pout, and he looks up at Vlad and says, "The horse won't fit."
He says this as Vlad is currently dismounting. So, yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
And he will telepathically tell the horse to go away with the other horses.
You can do that? Oh yeah,
I can do that.
It's a steed. Yeah, that's right. It's a summoned steed.
I need to do that at some point.
It's real fun.
Mine
Any
shall
case,
be named Philip.
Vlad will continue to keep his Batman vision up,
Very good. And
so I'll be able to see magic items.
Cloven moves to the doorway of the thing and looks back with this disgusted look he's had ever since he's been assigned this job to see who's going to follow him. Monarch wanders off into the church to see what he can determine from the holy things that are going on. So he's going to slowly move out of the field of view. And are you joining the group, Alexander?
Oh, yes, of course.
I'm gonna tap Victor on the arm. You going in, or are we going to try something else?
I suppose I shall have a look.
It's a good thing you don't breathe, buddy.
Ah! Vlad yells as someone runs past him.
He opens the door, and let me see here. I'm going to take this roof off entirely. I can't entirely see the... I took him to the wrong spot for the door. I thought it was something was wrong there. So let me go back here and put him right here. That's where the door is. And he opens the door, and as he steps in, he goes, "It's just me, everything okay?" And you hear a clamor set up of like metal banging on bars, and above the din a large grunt of something that doesn't entirely sound human.
Can we tell if it, like you say, a large grunt? Can we tell if it's coming from a large creature?
It sounds like it's a fairly large creature of some kind.
POTUS follows in.
Vlad
Darrock
goes
is
down.
right behind him, or right behind whoever.
When you go inside, you see garbage and the remnants of some furniture that apparently was in this area at one time, maybe a desk or table that would have been the receptionist for the hospital was probably here at one time. You can see remnants of a chair and a counter or desk lying amid rubbish on the floor.
Rubbish, trash. It's a monster. Kill it.
Oh God.
No, it's a trap. We're gonna summon some monsters.
I'm gonna follow in after the rest of them. I'm also going to try and
changeling.
I'm also going to try and keep my cloak in front of my face because oh God, that smell.
Yeah, the smell, the minute you open the door, the smell just practically overwhelms you. Give me a Constitution save, please. Everybody that's inside.
I'm so going to Constitution save and go.
Yeah, I am very constituted.
Everybody gets +3.
I stopped breathing. Do I need to make a save?
No.
Stop breathing. My dad is a lawyer.
What? What? Oh, Lord.
Thanks to these children, I can ace all con saves.
All of you managed to pass it, having been through wars and having seen horrors, and even those that you've seen recently have steeled your constitution considerably, and you are able to manage to make it without throwing up. As Cloven steps inside, you see a low, solid railing, and any of you that kind of look over it would notice some stairs are going up, upstairs. He mentioned that there was like a barracks and a visitor upstairs, and you can see the stairs there as you enter, where indeed probably accesses the second floor. There is a long hallway with 8 doors on it and a door at the far end. You see as your eyes adjust to a very dim light, because there's only very dirty windows and one broken window with bars on it that is in this area. You notice a rather large, looks like a large human at the far end of the hall, who grunts and like bends down like he's peering at you.
Did we assume that was where... Oh, sorry.
It is considerably larger than the odd, deformed creatures that you have seen. In fact, he is probably larger even than you, Duroc and Apotus.
I'm totally gonna be sure to be behind the tallest people. Thank you for being my meat shields.
Epotus rounds the corner and sees this gigantic-looking thing at the end of the hall. And Cloven, who would that be?
Oh, that's the master's pet. He will obey me most of the time. He's just here to make sure that they don't get in fights too much.
As in the Abbot.
The people here get in fights a lot. Sometimes they come out in the hall and fight, and he stops. And he helps
the
me.
master is the Abbot.
The master is the Abbot. Come out and try to grab food from each other. He stops them, and he helps me carry the big kettle.
So he's
Sounds
friendly.
I grunt, like, noticeably angry after hearing about Master's pet.
Oh yeah, by this time Colin Motion has definitely worn off.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's see your assorted friends.
So which room do you want to look in first?
Let's just walk down this hallway first. Okay, so detect magic. Everything I can see any magic within 30 feet of me. It's blocked by 3 feet of 3 feet of wood or dirt, 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of metal, or a thin sheet of lead.
Measure out the distance for me, please, on that real quickly. You do not detect any strong source of magic, although you have a kind of a sense of maybe there's a little something weak going on in here, but you're not really sure what exactly it is. But you don't detect anything powerful in it within that range.
Oh, here, I'll make it simple.
Does your
Everything
detect
in that.
Okay, and how long does it last?
It lasts 10 minutes.
Very good.
It lasts 10 minutes, and I've been constantly casting it as a ritual. It blinked out for a little bit during the little encounter earlier, but I've Batman vision. I've had my rockers out, ritual casting.
Yeah, sorry. OC for a second. Because there's a certain object in Sylvia's possession, would that ping on Vlad's radar?
Probably.
Yes, he would have,
Yeah,
but
I
he would
all
know
of
these
our
items. He would be familiar with this because he's been casting it over and over again for the entire length of time. Basically, you've been in Barovia, so he would have known.
Silva, you've
No.
had this holy symbol the entire time?
No, because I have the sword hilt in the bag that
He
we
kno-
took from the statue.
And he's familiar with the
I don't
sword
remember.
hilt.
Okay, I wasn't sure that he saw us go through that whole process or not, or if he was like blissfully unaware.
No, you guys took a couple of hours to dig under the gazebo and dig out a hole that you could crawl through, and then get the hilt and bring it back out. So he's well aware of it.
Okay.
Vlad probably would have been able to direct you which way it was.
I
In
know
any
Monarch
case.
did a lot of that, but yeah, go on.
The one who knew where it
Well, I
from
wasn't
his
here to
studies,
actually
yeah. I know,
help.
I'm
I
explaining.
know, sweetie, I know.
We're explaining. Monarch he had studies that indicated that there was something remarkable about the pond up there, and it turned out to be a very holy pond, something Victor wanted very much to stay away from. And he was able to zoom in, if you will, on what his lore indicated, and he was the first one to spot a gleam under the gazebo.
I would have collected some and examined it to see whether or not it was actually holy water.
It is indeed, and it is exactly what holy water is. So any flask that you have full with it, make note of that.
I'll probably buy some. I'll have to buy some flasks because I don't have any empty ones.
I mean, I still have some holy stakes. I don't know if that's any helpful, though.
I don't think you can put water into steaks.
Well, no, the stakes are blessed with holy water.
Collect some flasks of it to use for his abilities. By the way,
Okay.
since you also, Vlad, missed some of the early things when you were gone, there is no store per se in this town. It operates like a commune. The villagers all share what they have and do the best they can. The Burgomeister has a very slightly larger house than the others, but not ostentatiously so. He is not much better off than all the other villagers, and there is no inn where you can spend the night, but all the villagers were willing to give you floor space and blankets and so forth to give you a place to stay.
Okay. So since we're starting to come up on the end time, let's kind of push this. What was his name? Clyde?
Cloven.
Cloven.
Just like a cloven hoof, although I don't think he has it.
Okay, so Cloven, let's take this tour quickly, please.
Which room would you like to see first, sir?
These walls are would they be 1 foot thick?
They'd be 1 or 2 feet thick. They're not thick enough to block your spell.
1 foot of stone is thick enough to block my spell, yeah. So let's just start with this door.
Very good, sir. And he swings the door open, and you hear a bunch of sound coming out of the thing. And you see a bunch of startled small people like Cloven scattering away from the door and running to the back of the room and huddling against the wall in the back. That token indicates that there are 3 of them in this room. I've got things that I've got on there to indicate what we've got. There are 3 people in this room, and they all like jibber and jabber and run to the farthest corner of the room and huddle away from you. Is anybody carrying any brighter light, or are you just going to use the dim light that's
I
in
had
the
said Vlad cast. I said when we entered here that I'd cast light.
All right.
Okay.
You can see that what once had some looked like fairly decent beds have been utterly destroyed and broken up, and the bedding has been cast into corners. There's a kind of a pile, looks like maybe they huddle in it for sleep, but it does look like they at one time had beds, maybe 4 beds in this room. People who huddles away is holding on to what in the light is shining a little bit gold-like. It looks like it is a candlestick, but the creature is cradling it as if it's a doll and actually has it wrapped in a piece of rag.
Oh, okay. Very well. And I don't see any magical aura in this room.
It's empty except for just little piles of debris.
All right, let's try this room next. Yeah.
I kind of want to make my way to the big guy.
Just doing a knuckle dragging mouth breather routine. When you open the room to the south, Vlad, another horrible stenchy wave comes out of this room. There are almost too many to count. If you hold your nose and put your cloak up to your face, and you step in and you look around at the people who are in there, there are, it looks like there's about maybe 16 people in that room. They are packed wall to wall and wallowing in their own filth. The floor is strewn with gnawed bones. And the various Mongol folk, which is what they really are, the various mongrel folk are just gibbering, and they don't look entirely well. They
What material is this building made out of?
and a tile roof.
Okay. Next.
While they're
Pretty
moving,
much,
I
yeah.
yell hello to the big man. He is noticeably bigger than me, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Then I'm going to take a stab in the dark. I'm going to speak giant and say hello.
He responds.
It was worth a shot.
Vlad shuts that door. Cloven, why do the people here not bathe? They have access to water. They're not restrained into here, are they?
Not really, no.
Well,
Go out and get buckets of water if they want it. Don't want to.
Do they even know? Do they even know how to bathe themselves?
Don't know. I know how to bathe. I wash every month.
That's about
That-
yeah.
that
Keep in
is
mind we're
good.
in Middle Ages.
That is very good.
Put us back on Avatar until we get our 7th picture back up there.
Yeah, I think the Central's so powerful it killed Alex.
So let's power on to the next room.
Okay, north or south?
North.
You, as you open the door, you already from outside heard the quarreling going on. There are 4 quarreling individuals in this room. And I've got this wrong. There it is. There's 4 of the mongrel creatures are in a pile in the north end of the room, fighting and punching and clawing and biting at each other. And as you kind of peer in to see what all is in the room, you notice an almost lifelike statue. It's a little shorter than lifelike, but it is clearly of a woman. The statue is made out of wood, and it stands maybe 5 feet tall, and her arms are outstretched in a blessing sort of pose. She looks like she was probably a holy woman of some kind, and she was wearing long robes, and all of her facial expressions and her hand expressions is like she's blessing someone. And hiding behind her and kind of under this outstretched cloak is a 5th mongrel creature that it appears to be trying to hide from the fight that is going on in the room. When you step into the room, Vlad, your spider sense tingles. Your divine...
Flip down the
Your-
eye patch.
that doesn't show you anything, but
Oh,
your...
Batman.
But your
Detect magic, yeah.
your detect magic does.
Okay. What object or person am I seeing that is magical?
Something about the statue. Not as a
A
whole,
clone.
but the most of it seems to just be wood, but it definitely seems to have something that it's magical about it.
This is okay. Cloven, there is a fight in here.
They're always fighting. They're fighting over who gets first bowl of food. And he kind of pushes you aside and goes in. You stop or I send a big boy after you. You stop now. And they push each other aside and pout and stand up when he says that.
Vlad will take this opportunity to step into the room and take a closer look at this statue.
You don't.
Is the statue the same as the gazebo?
No, this
I mean,
is of a woman.
Despite that it's a woman? Yeah,
The
I mean, like,
statue of the
is there
gazebo
similarities? Is
Um,
what I meant.
The pose is similar, but you can tell that it's a different individual. This is definitely a woman. She is dressed in kind of monk's robes, but she is in a definite, very holy posture. You give me a history check, anyone that wants to, so I can see how much of history that was mentioned you might have picked up on.
Not great at. Oh, that was decent. And we're still getting your +3, right?
This is not a save.
Doesn't apply to ability checks?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Does Lynn or any of the others want to do a history check? And is Victor inside the building, or what's he doing?
Yeah.
And is Alexander inside the building? We don't know. I'll put him in.
Alexander's still not here. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's probably following.
I feel like Victor probably wouldn't really be knowledgeable about this.
But it's carpentry work.
Oh, that is excellent cedar wood.
That was actually more what I was trying to get at. Was like, is the wood similar from the one outside?
I thought the one outside was made of stone.
Yes, the one
I thought it was
outside.
made of wood.
It was gilded. It was gilded in
Wow.
some kind of metal. But I
Okay.
believe, as I recall, it was a stone gilded with metal. This one, it does not have any gilding on it. And the closer you step to it, the more you get the sense that there is something related to the statue that has something magic. But it's a pretty large thing to carry out the door. It could be dragged, I suppose.
I will also say that I learned the School of Magic, if it has any. And is it just the entire statue is magical, or is there something...
No, something about it is magical, not necessarily the entire thing. Just a moment.
Did you say it was wearing robes, or is it just the wood carved to make it look like it was wearing robes?
Carved to make it
think
look
it was
like it
carved.
was
Okay.
wearing robes.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mike. I get very antsy when it comes to stuff that I think might have similarities and whatnot. I'm like,
Do you get very antsy when it comes to statues?
yes, exactly.
Don't play
It does
Total
not.
Warhammer
It
2.
doesn't say the School of Magic. Let me see exactly here.
If it doesn't have a School of Magic, then I don't learn it. But I will try to investigate the statue to see where
It
this source
it
of magic is
doesn't
coming from.
have a true school. Just a moment. Let me look something up.
Well, she is. Yeah, like it. My brain is like, oh, hey, I see a connection. There was a statue outside. There's a statue in here. Maybe they're connected some way. Turns out it wasn't. But like, I think of this stuff and I'm like, ooh, I wonder if I found something that I probably shouldn't have because Derek probably isn't smart enough for this. The bad thing about playing
No.
a dumb character.
This
Travis William.
This
Yeah.
object does not have a school. However, you feel a great affinity to it, and it is strong enough that Hippotas probably would feel it standing in the hallway in spite of the fact that he doesn't have a similar spell up.
Ooh.
I will again investigate the statue to see if I can find where the source of this is coming from. You just said it's not the entire statue. It's
No. The little
Otis pulls his arm around his nose and peeks in.
the little creature who's standing behind the statue, as you try to move it, it's not fastened to the floor. He's, in fact, kind of hauled it, you can tell from drag marks, he's kind of hauled it over into the corner to give himself a place to hide out from the others who are fighting. But he grabs the arm and, like, tries to keep you from turning it around or moving it.
Ah! Mine! Mine!
Can I
Mine!
see the creature? Can I see the creature behind the statue?
Oh, yeah, he's not doing a very good job of hiding,
I
actually.
will use my action to see. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic. So I'll use my action to see whatever has aura around it, so I can find out exactly where this thing is.
There is an aura coming from the base of the statue.
Alright, I will go down towards the base and I'll kneel down and look at the base.
It just looks like a wooden base from where you are.
Vlad will look up at this creature and say, "May I take a closer look at these?"
It is mine! It's mine! You can't have it!
Would you like to trade for it?
Oh, trade what?
Vlad pulls out the ornate dagger. Oh, that's probably not a good idea. Never mind.
I can give him that. Let's see what I have.
Vlad will pull out one of the pieces of gaudy jewelry and say,
No!
I will give you this if you let me have the statue.
His eyes light up real big.
Ah, pretty jewelry. Pretty jewelry. Ah, prettier than the statue, but it doesn't protect me from them.
Would you like me to take you to a different room?
I don't know. I don't know the other rooms very well. I don't know. This is my room. It's my room.
Would you like a spell that helps protect you?
Oh, magic.
A magic?
I
Like
like
magic? Yes.
magic. Yes, I like magic. Give me magic.
it.
I'll be all powerful. I'll be
I
in
have-
control of the room.
I have a spell that can make it difficult for them to attack you.
Give me magic. I want magic. Give me pretty jewelry and magic.
No, one or the other. If you said the jewelry will not protect you. If you
Yeah,
let
but
me,
I'm going to be king
if
of the
you let
room,
me
and
look
I'll
at
wear
the-
the jewelry to show them I'm king of the room when I have the magic.
whatever.
Epotus sticks his head in and steps behind Vlad and just says, "Move."
I don't like you very much. I like him better. He's giving me pretty stuff.
Can I do an intimidation check?
Oh, you probably intimidate him pretty easily, but he still doesn't like you very much.
I want the natural one to show up. Yes!
Ah, there it is.
He
You're not
called
the
it.
Rock.
He called it.
No,
There is no
I don't
other way.
I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to him. He gives me pretty jewelry. He's going to make me king. I want to talk to him.
Make it quick, Vlad.
I will give you this. I will give you the magic and the ring
Yes,
if
yes.
you give me the statue.
Mm,
It's magic.
Okay, okay.
Who else
Deal.
has magic? There are
Deal,
plenty of
deal.
statues. Who else has
Okay.
magic?
Okay, I'll take it. You
I
can
hand
have the
him
statue.
one piece of. I will take one piece of gaudy jewelry and I will cast Sanctuary on him.
He now has a sanctuary.
I'm going to
Let
be
me
king.
mark
They
that
can't,
off my
they
spell list
can't
as
hurt
well.
me. They can't hurt me now. I am king of this room.
Just
You hear me?
And he points at
going
the
through
others.
all of my spells today.
He points at the others.
You better listen to me. I'm king of this room now. No more fighting unless I say so.
Epotus, will you help me take this statue outside, please?
Sure.
And so began the brutal reign of Crazy Eyes the Great.
For the next 8 hours until the spell wears off.
For the next 12 minutes.
So you
Would you
haul
like Darok to help?
the wooden
Yes,
statue
please.
outside in the hall.
Into the hallway, and Vlad will take another inspection at the base to see if you can find what the source of this magic is.
Just don't drop it.
Are
I
you
was gonna say lift that up a little bit to look underneath the base.
just looking down on it, just like in the room, you don't see anything?
Yeah, Darok is gonna tip the statue a little bit so that he could look. So Vlad or
Sylvia!
someone can look underneath the base.
You notice, give me an investigation or perception roll.
It's not gonna be me. I'm holding the statue.
Whoever is looking underneath the statue when he tips it.
Hey,
You just had to one-up me.
I'm pretty swingy today.
Apo, you realize there are other numbers between 1 and 20.
no, there isn't. Not for him.
I'm a paladin. I'm all about the
Look,
extremes.
look at your roll there. 1 and 20. That's amazing. Talk
I'm all
about
about the extremes, baby.
You know what? I kind of want to know what my role is as well. I can't see underneath
Nat one.
perception.
Oh.
You were smart enough with your perception to say probably, well, there might be something underneath.
So we got Vlad and Duroc like, what's going on here? And Epotus is like, oh hey.
All,
Later.
But I find
all of you basically notice, and definitely Apotus notices that there is a section of the wood underneath that the grain in a square, that the grain does not match up and runs the wrong way, like it's a separate piece of wood that has been placed on the bottom of the statue.
Epotus takes his claw and just goes thunk.
And you manage to pop open a lid on the bottom that kind of half falls. The statue's not tipped over far enough, can open very much, but when this little piece of wood falls out onto the floor partially, something on a chain slides partly out of the opening.
I kind of tip it a little more so that they can kind of reach it.
In before
Trying to
it's
be
those
gentle
bugs
enough that if I do let go, that it's not going to shatter or anything.
In before it's those bugs from the mummy.
Just
Rip.
turn into Benny, pull out all of the holy symbols. Vlad will reach down and take the chain.
And when you pull it out, you see
I
this.
die.
No. Actually, it feels like it almost belongs to you. You have a sense of rightness, and it draws Epotus as well. The chain has a symbol at the end of it that shows a rising sun with the and underneath it, in a small section underneath it, there is a raven with its wings spread in almost a heroic or blessing pose.
Do I feel like repulsed by it or anything?
You are not close enough to it, but just the very appearance of it with the Lathander symbol on it makes you kind of feel the hairs rise on your neck. If you have any hairs left.
I have pretty much no hair, but probably feel like my skin prickle. So I'll just keep my distance.
Is this what we were looking for?
I believe it is.
Do we have to make a roll, or?
Let me first turn on your visibility for this item so that you are able to read it. It is indeed, as best you can tell from it. Now the picture here is not how I've described it. It's different because I see it differently than they do. So just ignore the picture, but you will have access to the information on it so you can see what the information is.
Vlad holds it up by the chain and says, Part 3. 3 down, 1 to go.
What is the last thing we need from our previous conversation?
We
Yeah.
need
A voice,
to visit-
a voice comes out of the nether and says, "A book."
we need to visit
Who the fuck
Another
is
thing.
that?
The drowned village, I think.
that is.
No, really, who said that?
Says
Yeah,
what?
no, seriously.
Sorry, I had something in my throat.
This is the narrator, of course.
This is simply my god speaking to us from beyond.
And then the animator suffered a fatal heart attack. The beast was no more. Quest for the Holy Grail could continue.
We were talking in ESO channel about Chim being where you recognize that you are really the dream of a god, and that if you properly manipulate, this is like an East Indian or Asian, some kind, correct me on what you know, but it's a definite religious concept that we actually are the illusion, the dream of a god. And that if you awake to this realization properly, you can actually manipulate the dream and become part of the creator of the dream. So the chim. So I think that you must have recognized the chim when you heard the narrator then.
Isn't that from the end of Morrowind?
Yeah,
It is mentioned in Morrowind, but it's taken.
It's what the it's a theory about how the Dwemer disappeared because they were all connected to the heart of Lorkhan, and when Kagranak activated it, they all realized they all became aware that they were part of a dream, but they weren't prepared for it, and so they, like a dream, ceased to exist.
And
Almost all of them.
it is taken from an Eastern religious concept. They used that for the creation of it.
So, Vlad, Dirok,
Focus.
Yes, and I'm putting the statue back up.
what's the plan now?
Well, I don't see that there is much we can do for these people.
If there's one more item that we need to get, what happens after we have that item?
I would assume we take the fight to Fangface.
Would we really be ready, though?
Troops and
I'm not
engage.
sure.
I'm ready now.
Maybe we should try and find a.
Let's go talk to
proper
the
field of
Vistani
battle
upstairs.
somewhere we could,
Durak wants to.
And
It
what
was a
was
Vistani who's-
Alex wanted to do?
Spread.
What?
Oh, Jason's back.
What
I
was
need to go secure some things with Mikhail. I may be around for some time, or I may need to head back. I'll need to confer with him.
If you
if
do
you'll
go back, I think
excuse
the
me.
statue will make a good decoration for the headquarters.
By the way, those of you who did the insight and investigation, you could pretty well guess that this probably is a statue of Saint Markovia.
And so POTUS starts dragging it back out.
We have a statue. We might as well take it.
Right?
And
We'll need to,
Wait, no.
have somebody scrub the shit off of it.
Wait, no.
Alex
It's
is
my.
silent.
It is my quest to be a walking armory. That is my new club. Give it back.
Yeah.
Excuse
Oh.
you. When we bind some desiccated ritual to some boar god, you can have that.
At this point, I'm basically going to call it because our time is up. Alex, you
Yeah.
had a question, and I've been trying to give you a space to be able to ask it.
Did I have a question? Because I can't remember. But out of the blue, I'm not sure if you guys caught that. I got knocked off the internet, and I had to fight for like 15 minutes trying to get it back. I kind of totally blew out everything I was doing.
That's,
No, yeah, we
that's fine.
realize.
Yeah, no.
That's fine. It happens. No problem.
I'd want to follow up on what I missed, but I think I have a general idea. It's something I said earlier before we engage Strahd. We should probably, as a group, pick the battlefield, because I'm fairly certain we can pick the battlefield with this guy. We know what he wants more than anything else in the universe. We can make him come to us.
Yes and no, I'll tell you, Celie, based on the prophecy. The prophecy deals with where you will encounter Strahd. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think
you
it
are
gave us a
somewhat limited.
location that's like. I think it gave us a location where it's like we have to fight him there.
Lurkin, creature of darkness and mortality, Dark One haunts a tomb. Dark One haunts a tomb of the one he envied above all others.
Yeah, so it's like part of the prophecy is we have to get all these MacGuffins, and then we have to deal with him at that location.
Does
Okay,
not
got that.
say we have to fight him at the castle.
Well, if that thing is at the castle, like we
If
find out where that
Sergei's
is,
tomb is at the castle,
then yes.
then yes. But if Sergei's tomb is not at the castle, which I don't believe it is,
I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that it is because this is a D&D module.
Probably.
and they're not going to throw a castle at us, and we're not ever going to go into it. 'Cause that's not how this stuff works.
If we don't, they did.
I will
If we
also
don't
point
do the
out to
thing-
you that there are some other powerful locations in the realm which will net you some strength from your promotions, which brings me to the final comment of the evening. You are now level 7.
Yes! Woo! I have advantage on stuff. I forget what it's
Okay,
called.
so Apo, do you think you'll be here for the end of the campaign?
That depends on how tomorrow goes, because tonight was a test to see if I will be functional tomorrow. And if I'm functional tomorrow, then we'll be a tentative 75% chance that I'm showing up.
All right. If
If
you do,
it's a no, then next week you'll just see Fate narrating that Epotus waves goodbye with the statue as he and Mikhail head back to Vallaki.
all right. Well,
Yeah, just about it.
You tell us in Discord chat whether or not you will be.
Yeah.
And that will deem whether or not I'm going to start taking levels in Paladin.
I will say this: I'm level 7, so things that are afraid of me within 10 feet have speed 0.
Oh.
Fun
Nice.
fact: if you have speed 0, you can't get up from prone.
It takes half your movement.
Well, then it would only be
This is
0,
true.
right? No, there's a rule
And
specific
they
about that.
take, I believe they take half paladin level psychic damage when they start.
I'm going to
Basically,
have you wave goodbye
Bye,
to
we
the
can plan.
Yeah,
Good
they'll,
night.
I'll let them plan all their wonderful new gizmos and gadgets that they can do on their own time instead of your time. Thanks for tuning in on the video. Hope that you will join us next week as they try to figure out the rest of the mysteries surrounding Barovia and St. Markovia's Abbey. Good night.
Mhm.